What's up everyone, I'm Andrew, your real life English fluency coach, and in today's lesson we'll be learning vocabulary and expressions related to celebrations and parties. And we are learning this today because here on Real Life English we are celebrating 100,000 subscribers. So thank you all so much for helping us to achieve this very special milestone. And we are also celebrating over on our other YouTube channel. However, I'll be talking about that a little bit more later. In case you're new here, I want to let you know that we are here to guide you beyond the classroom to live, learn, and speak English in the real world. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell down below so that you don't miss a single one of our new lessons. So this lesson will be broken down in 3 parts. First, different types of celebrations. Second, common collocations and mistakes. And lastly, fun expressions for parties. So to start off with, we are going to look at some different words for celebration and also the different types of celebrations that you can have. So usually people call a celebration a party. So this is probably the one that you will hear the most. And we are going to look at this a little bit more in depth later on. You might also use the word bash. So lots of people will say we are having a bash, or this is another way of describing a type of celebration. You could also have the word do. So some people might say, oh, we're having a do for our anniversary party, for example. So this one is also quite common amongst natives. So if you do hear it, don't be too confused by it. Another word used for celebrations that's also quite interesting is the word shindig. So some people might say, oh, I went to this shindig at the weekend. It was really fun. It was really cool. And you might be like, what are you talking about? What on earth is a shindig? But it does actually just mean a party or a celebration. You might also call a celebration a get-together because often when this happens, lots of people get together, lots of people come together for a celebration. Also, you might sometimes be invited to a farewell party. So it can be called this way, but it might also be called a send-off. So some people have a celebration to have a big old send-off. So maybe someone is moving to a new country, maybe someone in your workplace has a new job. So you would have a party to send them off in a great way. Sometimes you might also want to have or be invited to a housewarming. So this is typical when someone moves into a new home. Once they are settled, they will then have a housewarming. So they will invite their closest friends or family to warm up their house, to have a little party to celebrate their new place. Also, if you want to raise money for charity or have some sort of fundraiser, this is another celebration or party. So you might throw a fundraiser, you might organize a fundraiser, and you could attend one as well. You could just simply call it a gathering. So usually when there's a celebration, lots of people gather together, a little bit like come together. They gather together, they come for this one celebration, this one particular party. And if you're lucky enough, you might even get invited to a ball. So a ball is a very formal occasion where you would wear a ball gown and men would probably wear a tuxedo or a very nice suit, and it will be probably in a very grand location, very beautiful place, and it will be a very formal kind of party. And finally, the last word we're going to have a look at here is reunion. So you can have a reunion party. Maybe it's with your college or university friends. Maybe you have a high school reunion, or maybe just a reunion of friends that haven't seen each other for a really long time. And you could also have a family reunion. Sometimes what happens now in the world that we live in, people move around all over the world. So then there must be a time where people can come together and have a family reunion, have a big old party to celebrate and enjoy spending time together. So now we're just going to briefly look at some verbs that we would use here as well, because this is an area that learners sometimes find difficult and often make mistakes with. So the most common one here is to celebrate. Okay, so when you have a celebration or a party, you are celebrating a particular event or milestone, something very special and important in your life or a friend or family member's life. So usually when we have a party, so that's another verb we can use here, we would say, I'm having a party. We tend to say, I'm throwing a party. So this is very common as well to use. We would say, I'm throwing a party, or would you help me throw a party? This is a very common verb to use here. One mistake that learners tend to make is to use the word make a party. So this is very common, I guess, because people tend to translate the word in their head from their native language. But in English, we do not say we are going to make a party. We would say we are going to have a party, or we are going to throw a party. And you might even say that you are going to host a party. So these are the verbs that we tend to use with celebrations and parties. So next we're going to look at some phrases that we tend to use with celebrations, and these can be quite funny, they are quite interesting, and they are ones that natives use. So one that we could start with is have the time of your life. So if you attend a party that is really amazing, you could have the time of your life, meaning that you are having a great time, you are having the best time. There is no better time than you have had than at this party. We often tend to say also that we are going to let our hair down. So if you go to a party, you're going to let your hair down. It means that you're going to completely relax and enjoy yourself. You're not going to think about anything else. You're not going to think about your work. You're not going to think about what happened that day. You're going to completely let your hair down, let loose, and enjoy the event. You might also hear natives say that they are going to have a night out on the town. So this is a phrase that we use a lot in Britain, and I'm sure they use it in America as well. But we would say if we are going out with friends, we are having a night out on the town, we are going to even paint the town red as well, is quite an interesting phrase that natives use, meaning that they are going to have an amazing time, they are not going to have a care in the world, and they are going to go out and enjoy themselves. When you're at a party, you might also hear someone say, I'm having a ball. You might even say to them, oh, are you enjoying yourself? And they might say to you, I'm having a ball. And by that, they mean that they are really enjoying themselves. They are having a whale of a time, which is another phrase that natives tend to use as well. And all of these mean that people are having a good time at a party. They are really enjoying themselves. Today, we are learning all about celebration expressions because over on our other YouTube channel, Learn English with TV, we are celebrating 3 million subscribers. So I highly recommend that you head on over there to join the celebration because you can take advantage of the incredible offer we have, which is a huge 51% discount on our Fluent with Friends course. So you can find a link in the description box below to head straight over there, and you must hurry because this is only available for the next few days. Okay, so now we are going to take a bit of a deeper look and focus more on parties, and in particular words or expressions, short phrases that have the word party in them and are related to parties or celebrations. So the first one that we're going to look at is party animal. Do you know what a party animal is? Maybe you are one yourself. So a party animal is usually an outgoing person, someone that really enjoys going to parties. However, maybe you might be the opposite. Maybe you're a bit of a party pooper. Have you heard this term before? It's really quite a funny one, but what it means is someone that's a party pooper is someone that maybe is a bit negative in a party or a social event, and they might ruin the fun a little bit. To take that phrase even further, some people might be a wet blanket. So usually this phrase is used to describe someone who is maybe a bit gloomy, who kind of spoils the fun for everyone by being a bit negative. So maybe if you're out with your friends and someone is being negative about the situation or not enjoying themselves and trying to spoil the fun for everyone, you might say to them, stop being a wet blanket. And a bit similar to a party animal, someone that is the life and soul of the party really is that. Someone that enjoys parties, enjoys socializing, and really gets around and is quite funny, and just someone that you remember at a party that is the life and soul of the party. Some other words and phrases related to parties. Some people might even gate crash a party. Have you heard this term before? So you might know the film The Wedding Crashers with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. And what they tend to do is crash weddings. And in the UK, we use this term, a gate crasher. I think they do in America as well, but if you particularly gate crash weddings, then you might be called a wedding crasher. But you could gate crash any party, and what that means is that you're not actually invited to that party. So it's kind of like imagining someone crushing the gate. They wouldn't literally do it, but they find a way to somehow sneak into the party and enjoy themselves as well. So if a party is in full swing, it means that it's really getting going. Lots of people are there now. Everyone is dancing and enjoying themselves. So it's probably been going on for a little while already, and now it's really getting going. The party is in full swing. Everyone's enjoying themselves. There's lots of people there. Now, if you break up the party or the party breaks up, it's another way of describing that it has ended. Maybe it ended naturally, maybe people started to slowly go home, or maybe there was an incident there and maybe the authorities have come in to break up the party and it has suddenly ended. It's important to also note that you can have a fancy dress party. So in the UK, this is what we would call it, a fancy dress party. But in America, they would say it's a costume party. So this is where you dress up. Usually people have these kinds of parties for Halloween, especially. So you would choose a particular character to attend as. So you would dress up as that person or as that character to attend a fancy dress or a costume party. Some other parties as well. In the UK, we would have a hen party and a stag party, or a stag do, we would say. So that's an area where you can use the word do. And what this is usually before a couple get married, they have a party, they have a night out with their friends. So maybe a night out on the town. And hens are the female. So it's the female party, you'd have a hen party if you're the woman, and the men would go on a stag party. And in America, they would call this a bachelor party and a bachelorette party. Another word or another way to describe a party that's also interesting and good to note here is more of an American one. So they tend to use the word shower. So when you think of the word shower, you probably think when you go and have a wash, maybe you've been at the gym, or maybe you like to have your shower in the morning. Or sometimes we talk about this when we refer to a rain shower. If it's raining quite lightly and it sort of comes and goes very quickly, we might use this word. However, in America, they tend to say bridal shower and baby shower. So these kinds of parties are typical before a wedding. So although you might have a hen party or a bachelorette party, they tend to also throw a bridal shower. And also before someone has a baby, so when a woman is pregnant, they will throw a baby shower for that person as well, which is a party where people will come along and, usually have some sort of finger food, some drinks, and you would bring that person some gifts. You would give them some presents. So this is another interesting word for party as well. And finally, some other things that people might say at a party is, first of all, they might say, I'm a bit late to the party. And while this can be literal, you might actually be late to a party. This is an expression that's used outside of parties and celebrations as well. So if you're with friends and you're finding out some information a little bit later than everyone else, you might say, oh, I'm late to the party. It seems that I'm late to the party. because you weren't aware of this information and you're kind of like the last one finding out this information. And finally, we have the expression party as if there's no tomorrow. So this literally means imagine that the world didn't exist tomorrow, or we weren't on this planet. Tonight you are going to party as if there's no tomorrow. So thinking of all the expressions that we've previously looked at in this lesson, those would apply here, where you are going to paint the town red, where you're going to let your hair down, and where you're really going to enjoy yourself. So in this lesson, we've really looked at some expressions that natives use, some real life expressions. And if you haven't already checked it out, I highly recommend this lesson that Ethan did on school English versus real life English. So if you haven't already watched that, you can click up here or down in the description box below to check that out next. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and if you did, make sure you give us a thumbs up so that we know that you want more content like this. And you can start using some of these expressions if you are arranging a party, or if you are watching TV and movies. You can now understand these types of expressions for celebrations and parties a lot better. And I will see you guys in the next lesson, so take care.
Natives will actually speak like my friend Street Stan. Yeah, man, I'd say like gotta, wanna, gonna, have to. So maybe you already know about those ones, so let's look at a couple more examples that might be a bit more surprising for you. Turn to page 20. Turn to page 20. He's traveling to New York. He's traveling to New York. I need to go